Hello everyone and welcome back once again to Decisive Campaigns, Ardennes Offensive, with another bonus episode brought to you by my Patreon supporter, Poomnerau. With that said, let's continue. I want to go for a heavy attack over here so I can potentially get to that depot. I'm still trying to make it to Junglinster. Cut off whatever forces they might have there. I want to see the hex, because I'm in the city here, and I'd rather be in the city than anything else. I cannot get up to Herborn anyway. Let's smash. I won't soon forget this misery, I think. Indeed. They're about 50% down, and if I take all of these guys, I'm just losing one Stug. That is pretty interesting. Because okay, fair enough. Sweet. It's a minor supply base, but I'll still deplete it. And I'll move you back. I don't need to go into this area, to be honest. I'm perfectly fine with doing things like this. Ah, shit. That's a shame. But it is some success. I obviously don't really know how bad things are going to be in this area. But yeah, if I can get to Junglinster, it's not worth any points. Maybe Mersch is, yeah. But it's still a big supply depot. Major supply base. So in that sense, I think it'd be quite useful. Now, that's interesting. I'm looking to surround these units. Obviously. But I don't think it will necessarily succeed, but for them to get through this area, that would be exceedingly difficult. I'd like to get rid of these guys first, though. Second unit. Yeah, it's not that surprising. I'm quite overstretched, which is my biggest concern over there. Let's see though. Good. It would be weird to think that'd be empty. The thing that I want to attack though is this combat engineer. Which has an obscene amount of units, if you think about it. This armored engineer battalion is freaking huge. Also with a lot of bazookas. It's a very big unit. I guess having the CCA 9th Armored Division around this area is not fun. We're also dealing with the 4th Infantry in there, well, basically around all this area. Okay. I want to hold that bridge, so I'll put a few of these support units in there. I guess they'll be they're getting attacked by these mortars. That would be my guess. At this stage, though, I'm primarily concerned with moving along into Ethelbook. If I can take that, I'll have a good depot there. And a nice, just in general, a nice position. Right, I'm not feeling too good about this any other way, but yeah, I don't really have any other choice there. Fifth Fallschirmjäger is still moving towards Eschdorf and Martelange. Up here. An interesting thing here is that there is that unit. Not necessarily too interested in moving down. Absolutely nothing. It's most likely not going to get a whole lot better than this, so... Sucks, but... The odds weren't that bad. These guys have only one way to go, which is down towards Ethelbook as it is. While I apparently can move forward here now. Which I will. Well, I'm happy to have crossed the river there. They have none, so I moved them there this turn. Okay. Next up are these units. I've moved a lot of them already, but certainly not all of them. At least that's what I thought, but I kind of did. One thing I can do is deploy a Feldarsatz on Vith. Because I have a sensation these guys might try to go back. Because it did allow the Kampfgruppe Valois to move forward by significant amounts. I mean, there's basically no way I'm gonna let that slide, obviously. Sure, if I can kill this, I'll gladly do that. I know they can't go back, and technically they can take the city, but just killing that artillery, I think it's worth its weight in gold. And I'm gonna use Kampfgruppe Bohm in the Stugs. I lost a... It looked like a panther, but it can be. So they still had something in there, huh? A question that's, I think, pretty interesting is how important is it going to be to finish off this unit? As for 2nd Panzer, if they get to Bastogne quickly... that could be pretty useful. Another thing that might be pretty useful is this surrounding of the units at Eschweiler. The only road... Well, they have no roads through which the supplies can really go through now, since I technically control this here road. And there's no other road from which they can get their supplies from, technically. Or the supplies have to go through the woods. Ranged attack on 55? Why would it be a ranged attack? This is a regular attack. I mean, come on. It's weird. Can't. Okay. Unfortunately, those guys need to be defeated too. Now Now the problem with this hex or this position is that there are only dirt roads coming from there, which is a bit of a problem. I will block them in, but the rest of these... I have to keep moving. Really, I only see this now. Those artillery pieces have nothing against artillery. And even now it probably only causes a bit of disruption, if anything. Nothing at all. That was quite bloody effective, though. Well, the units there aren't isolated. But I still think that with this movement that's going pretty well. We're getting pretty close to Bastogne here, even on the 17th of December. In that sense, I think the progress that we're making is pretty reasonable in terms of time frame perspective. So let's take a look at these. Putting an armored artillery battalion up front is not necessarily the best way to do things. The enemy got pummeled quite badly though during their turn, in most of the areas at least. Goofy is 2 points. This is also part of the 9th Armored. They are very scattered. Oh, this is the CCR 9th, and this is CCA. Which is indeed a different unit. The one thing where I'm quite struggling is Saint Vith. Maybe a bit more than I could have hoped for. Another problem is that they put this 5th US Ranger Battalion up in here. And if I defeat it, I can get to Goofy. Which is okay, I suppose. One thing that does need to happen is I need to get rid of that recon. Okay, that's marginal. Funny that. The interesting thing about this is that by doing this, there is technically a chance that there's nothing in there. I think I should take it. I mean, they will escape, but the chance to at least deal a blow to the 52nd Armored Infantry Battalion, as powerful as it is probably quite good. I really want to have access to this road because it's a very good road. Obviously, a road going down towards Bastogne from basically running all the way up to St. Vith like that. Yeah. These guys don't have any Stugs either. That's also not necessarily going to be the greatest. But what I can do that was quite pathetic. 5th US Ranger Battalion. They only have jeeps, bazookas, and veterans. Not necessarily a match for my units here. Bye-bye, 5th US Ranger. Okay, this is exactly what I meant with I want to cut them off. of course, I need to have a unit in there, but the encirclement of the 2nd Tank Battalion and the 52nd Armored Infantry Battalion here does seem to open up the path and allow me to potentially move indeed up to Gouvy. One thing that I found interesting as well is that it kind of feels like the one place where they're really trying to hold hard is at St. Vith. But at the same time, I'm capable of moving around it a bit. If at some point I can make some kind of grand encirclement around the city, that'd be pretty good. It would be very nice if it can cross the Urth River over here already. It gives me a pretty good vantage point to move further to the west from there. At least, well, depending on the situation. Like, if these guys can get to Houffalize and Noville pretty quickly, then I suppose units from 2nd Panzer can continue along towards La Roche and or these 3 cities. It will allow the 116th Panzer Division to move up towards Fiesole, while the forces in here move towards Stavelot and La Glaise. Potentially. That does. In a sense, I think the scope of this battle does indicate how difficult it would have been for the Germans to actually pull this off. If you're playing any kind of 1940 campaign through the Ardennes are generally just a very small portion of the actual campaign. I mean, we've played the Decisive Campaigns from Warsaw to Paris, and we know that going through the entire Ardennes is just it's like 1/10 of that particular map, maybe, you know, maybe slightly bigger, but not much more than that. And the rest of it is, you know, cruising through France. Whereas this time around, basically you'll be spending 50 episodes just trying to get from, you know, any German city up to Liège, which, you know, in many other games is literally like, you know, 5 or 6 hexes if you're playing it in 1940. So it is an indication of how things are, I guess. At any rate, I want to keep at least these guys here as a little roadblock in case these guys decide that they need to have a little bit of fun there. Another thing I could do is move up here, cutting these guys off from their singular road. Could be worth it. Because we do have Team Lee, Team Jackson with some heavy armor, together with the 32nd Cavalry Squadron, which could be cut off that way too. And if I can pull that off by moving in here, that might allow me another entry towards St. Vith, because I'm surely not getting into St. Vith from this side, obviously. Alright, well, we'll discuss that in a little bit. For now, I want to thank you for watching. Do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider leaving a like, comment, or subscribe. Special shout out to all my Patreon supporters who made it possible for me to make these extra videos. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time. Bye bye.